everybody. We are live. Yeah, so happy Wednesday to everyone. So tonight we are starting our series of Cold and Confident. This is your real talk for moms, wives, and women in faith. So hello to everybody. We are coming from California. So
Yes.
to all of our beautiful ladies out there that are watching, this one's for you. If you are a mom that is juggling everything, a wife that is trying to keep the home together, or a daughter that is chasing your dreams, or a woman of faith and wondering how to balance it all, we see you. And you are so welcome here. And tonight we are your hosts. This is Margaret, and I'm a full time stay at home mom with two beautiful daughters and a digital business owner. And with me is,
Hi, everyone. I'm Eunice. I have two beautiful girls, and I am um, a wife, a mom, and a nurse practitioner. I work full time as a nurse practitioner.
yeah, so we started this series. This is our very first episode.
Yes. Really, really excited because we planned this actually for a few weeks now because we wanted to bring value to all of you, to all the women out there, and we wanted to encourage you, and we wanted to let you know that we see you, and all the struggles that we go through, and all really not just the struggle, right? All the blessings that we also
Yes.
have as a woman of faith and as a mom, and and also juggling all the things that we do as all the roles that we have in life.
Mhm. So
Yep.
this is a space for all women, real women just like us, that where you can talk about faith, family, purpose, and building something that aligns with your values, right? Because sometimes I know we feel like we are pulled into many directions, right? And we have learned that having a community together really helps, right? In order for us to grow together. And that's why we want to invest this time into building this community, that where you can learn from us, and we also want to learn from you guys as well.
Yeah, so feel free to, anytime. Actually, we're going to go live once a week. So anytime you have any questions for us or comments, and you're welcome to do that. And, if when we see your comments, we can answer any of your questions as well. And we'll just love to share with you what we've learned throughout the years. My dog is very loud and saying hi to everyone too. So if you can just excuse me.
And we're live.
Yeah.
Yes.
You
Hope
see,
just want to say hi.
yeah, I know. Do you see, like, this is part of being a mom and a wife, right? It's
Yep.
not always perfect. You go live, and then sometimes my kids will come here, or sometimes my dog will interrupt.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, tonight, right, sis, we have this amazing topic, which is rooted in our why, fueling your faith, family, and freedom through our purpose. Right?
Yes. Yep. For us, is as women, we all know we carry, or we have a lot of, like, different hats, right, that we have in life. And part of that is not just that, when what I was gonna say is, being a mom and a wife, you have this responsibility that we have. Actually, I think that as a gift, and I think we should always think that as a gift, as sometimes, as overwhelming as it is, juggling too many things in life, we always have to look at the purpose, right, and our why, and why we do what we do. And we're not just talking about business, but getting up, when it's so hard to get up in the morning, right? Or when you just don't feel like doing anything, and it's normal to feel that way, right?
Yeah.
Um, and sometimes we dread our day, and because it's just our plate is so full, and sometimes we also start things that we could not finish, and just and you probably sometimes wonder too, because of all the things that we have to do, that sometimes you probably don't even have time to ourselves, right?
Mhm.
And I feel that sometimes. I think I feel that most of the time because I always put myself last.
Yeah.
What
And
about
that's, and that happens to all of us women, I think also,
yeah,
that
yeah,
we try to, like for us, just like how you share, we wear a lot of hats, and so that, just like when you feel like you are being pulled from everywhere, as a mom, as a wife, as a daughter, right? So all of those things. And like our topic today is gonna bring us, it's gonna help us to bring that purpose again back to what we do, like why we do what we do, right? And that's gonna really help us, because having that why is really gonna help us to um to call this to really find that purpose again, and to help us to navigate life again, right? With the focus of just having that purpose.
yeah. And I agree with you, Margaret, because when you think about um uh when we're so tired and we just don't, and we feel like giving up, we always have to look at, okay, why we're doing this, why am I getting up in the morning to go to work. For me, right? For you, I know you have a lot of things that you have also as a stay-at-home mom, right? So it's just a never ending task that we have to do, and it's so easy to get discouraged, it's so easy to really get overwhelmed, and I think all of us can be in that kind of situation, and I have been. So when I became a mom, our eldest is 13 now, so 13 years ago, I I was so excited, right? I was so excited to be being a mom, and but when I held that baby Jasmine on my arm, and I look at her, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm responsible to this child. And I was like so overwhelmed with all the hormonal changes, right? You go through all the hormonal changes, and then now you have a responsibility, and then all of a sudden it was so overwhelming for me. And then the sleepless night, add that sleepless nights, and then also learning how to become a mom. And then now again, not just that, but it's also in your marriage, right? So there's definitely changes in your marriage, and there were times for me too that I was so overwhelmed. I didn't feel like I am capable to become a mom. And I always have to go back to the scripture and in the Bible that, I also have to remember that God gifted me this child, and He entrusted me with this child because He knows that I am capable to become the mom that He called me to be. And I always have to go back to that, because not just when she was a baby, I mean, now she's 13, there's so many different things that we all go through as parents, different stages, right? There's different stages, different challenges, right? I'm sure you can relate to this, Margaret, and a lot of you moms here, that the moment that you're breastfeeding them and changing the diapers 10 times a day, and then all of a sudden they start talking, walking, going to school, and now they have all these activities, right? And then now different challenges again, just different stages, and every time there's a change or another milestone that we reach, I always like there's always a challenge. And um and I'm just gonna say, I mean, it is definitely a blessing being a mom,
Yes.
right? And I always, and it's so easy to give up. Like I just feel, being, I think for me specifically, like because I work full time and I don't, very busy, taking care of patients, and then I come home and I feel like I have to. It's never ending, right? And so it's so very much so very tiring physically and then mentally. But again, I always just have to remind myself that this child and my role as a mom, as a gift, and as a wife, and that is something that I should not be you know, taking for granted. And then, so going back to our topic tonight is like, going back to that purpose and to your why, right?
Yeah.
And that is for me personally, is my why is I always have to go back again to the scripture, to the Bible, and what God has called me to do as a wife, as a mom, and as a nurse practitioner. But ultimately is, my family, and being a mom, and a wife is really the main, my main ministry is what I'm gonna say,
Yeah.
right? So before I can minister to others. So anyway, I talk so much, but I hope that was
It's okay, sis. Yeah, but I do agree with you, right? Definitely. Our family is like our ministry. So it's really actually like same with I have the same feeling when I had my first daughter, Haley. She's now 15, right? When I first saw her, I'm also like overwhelmed, right? With the pain, of the labor and that. And then also the joy, right? And then I look at her and I see like, can I really love this much? you know
yeah,
and then since then on, like after having the kids, it's like really, it feels really different. Like my purpose is always about, what can I do more so that I can give more for them, I can provide more for them. Everything that I do, I feel like it's always, a touch to them, right? It's always like the hard work. And we do, just like you said, we do experience some struggles, challenges, right? And then every time I experience that, I just look at them. You see, like they're so innocent, and then it makes me feel like, they need me, right? They need me more, right? So I have to do everything I can. I have to do the best I can, so I can give them more, and so I can, provide them more, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the challenges that comes with that too. Disciplining kids, and teaching them, overall about life, right?
Yes.
And part of that is, when you think about the challenges that we go through, and thinking about like, what if we are doing a good job, being
Mm,
a mom, right? And so I'm sure a lot of women can relate to this, and even just dads also,
yeah.
right? We always think about whether we are doing a good job, the parenting style that we do. And so I think that one thing that I would say, specifically for this, is that we always have to pray, um, to God, that He will continue to guide us. And obviously, we have to pray for our
For
kids,
sure. Yes.
and also our role as mom, and as a wife. And we're not
Definitely.
always going to be perfect, right?
Yes.
But the grace of God is always with us, right? And just as sometimes, each kid has their own personalities too, right? And so and sometimes they can be challenging, right? But then
Yes.
right right but also to remember that we are not perfect either,
Mhm.
right? So the Lord has been very graceful to us as well. So we make mistakes, and He still loves us no matter what. And if we could only love our children, just like how God, and Jesus loves us,
Yes.
that would be the greatest thing,
Yes. Yeah, and I think that is really like the best thing that we can also, instill into our children, right? Like to really, every time they go through something, also, they have to go back to God, Jesus our Father, right?
Yeah,
So He owns everything. He's, it's like they say, we have a dad that's very rich, very, that has abundance, that can answer all our problems, can solve all our problems. And so it's
yeah,
just something that we always go back to, especially I think for us as a family also, right? We started really journeying, practicing in our faith, right? Since
hmm,
then, we started really like showing the kids also, how to really practice our faith. And
hmm,
so I think that really helps us, um, to feel very, it feels really safe. And then the joy, the peace that you feel is very different when you are really closer to God, right? All
Yeah.
the challenges, it's really like it feels lighter because you trust in God, you believe in Him that is always there for us. And I know, He did put us where we're supposed to,
Yeah.
right? Believe in that. And everything that is happening, you know, around us is, actually a lot of things that are, the things that are happening are, happening for us, right? There's always a reason why it's either He's giving us this foundation, that we can use to the next thing that happens, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's really powerful to walk our faith, right? Especially for our children. Yeah,
Yeah.
they said, like sometimes we cannot really impose anything to them, even our faith we cannot impose to the kids. But what we can do is really, practice our faith, like make it so big that the kids wouldn't miss it.
Yeah, and then that they see it in us too. You know,
Yes.
there's also the way that we are modeling for them, and again, we're not perfect, and there are
Yep.
times when I catch myself. I'm like, "Oops, I should have not said that, or I should have not done that," right? And I'm like, and then I'm gonna tell my kid, "You should not do that." But you know what I mean, right?
Right. Yeah,
But
I would catch myself too like that. I'm like, yeah, I remember I couldn't tell her like stop doing it when she see me. I'm doing the same thing. It's like you really lead by example. So however
yeah,
we want them, if we want them to walk into the faith, right?
yeah.
We have to be the first one to really model that for them.
Yeah, and like a couple of days ago, I think I posted something about a prayer for children, and I actually posted on my wall, also because. And then sometimes what I do is I actually listen to that so that it reminds me,
Mm.
because especially when it's so difficult, like there's some times when really parenting can be pretty challenging, and then I just listen to it, and then I always have to like I really just go back to, okay, I'm called to be a mom, and my kids are happy and they're alive, and I must be doing a good job, right? Because sometimes we need the reassurance too, right? And so
Yeah.
we question ourselves. We question ourselves: Are we doing a good job? And then, and if you see something that they did something wrong, sometimes we feel like it's a reflection on us, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, again, going back to our topic today is just rooted to our why, and this is, I think, it's not just why we do what we do as far as like the business and why we do try to always do our best to become a better mom or a better wife, and also continue to become the woman of faith God called us to be, right? Is because we have to go back to the gospel. We have to go back to what God has done for us on the cross, and so if He is so gracious to us, then we could be gracious to ourselves, and also to our family, to our children, and to our spouse.
We
So,
try. Right.
yeah. So, yep. Guys, we actually trying to like make this where it's not gonna be a whole uh an hour of your time, but we wanted to provide real value to you. And this is
Yes.
real talk. We just want to, really, the way that me and Margaret came up with this, I was like, hey, you know what? We can definitely share this to other women. And so I hope, it's been 20 minutes. I hope you guys are getting value from this and getting encouraged. And again, if you have any, comments, would love to hear from you.
Yes, that know that you are not alone. Like we as like moms, women, right, and wives, we do also have struggles and challenges. And just like Eunice said, we are not perfect, right? So sometimes I would catch myself, oh, I shouldn't. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have done that. Right? Because actually, like for the kids, the kids doesn't really need like a perfect mom, right? They just need someone that's present, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so having the time for them, just like what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
We're trying to strive for more so that we can create this life wherein we can be more present for them,
Hmm.
right?
Yep.
Because I
Exactly.
know, right, Eunice, like what we were last night, right? We were like up late talking, right? And we talk about, how we go back to that reason why are we doing all this, right? It's
Yeah.
really for our children, right? Like we didn't realize, how much we met through the business, right? Online.
Yes.
We didn't
Yeah.
realize like how much the business have done for us, right? Just having that vision, right? That
Yeah.
to create the life that we want for our family, right? That there
Yeah.
is like a better way, that we can do that, right? And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And if you're a mom, wanting to have more freedom, or being able to provide for your family, and not just and not just that, but also do something for yourself. I've before I started this business, I prayed and prayed for so many, like, different opportunities, right? And I've tried different opportunities out there, and I question myself of whether I'm able to do that, right? Like I feel like, am I capable to do something like that? Because I see all of the successful people within our business community, and again, without a background in business. I've been in healthcare all my life. I've never worked anywhere else but in healthcare. And so, and then when I realized, and seeing everything, all that, and I realized that the opportunity was just right in front of me, that God was actually showing it to me.
Mhm.
And sometimes I think I mentioned this to you, Margaret, that I wish that I knew this business sooner than later, because, when I started back in August of 2024 last year, I was like, oh, I wish that I actually knew about this business. But then I realized I always have to go back, like, you know what? I should not think about this way, that way, because, yes, I wish, but I know that God gave us this business at the right time. That was the right time for me to start, and that was the right time for me to take the leap of faith, right? So there's always time, a perfect time for everything. And all these successful business owners within our community, they've been, 5 7 years within this business, and they're earning millions. And then I was like, oh, I wish that I started 5 years ago. But again, there's that perfect time. It's God's perfect timing.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely agree to that. Like even for me and my husband, right? When I found this business, I also thought like, how come? Then I found out like this business has been around, right? And I'm like, how come I never found this business?
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. Right.
It's
Like,
the same
where
thing. A
has this
lot of us,
business been all along, right?
right?
So
A lot of us like that are in the business, right? We were
yeah,
like, we wish we could have found this earlier, right? And then I agree with you. It's really, I believe in that. It's a divine appointment, right? God have showed it to us at the right time for us, right?
yeah,
And I like what you mentioned also about when you're having doubts, right, in the
mhm,
beginning, right? So I think a lot of us experience that too, not just in business, right, but in when you want to start
yeah,
something new, when you want to get that promotion, when you want to improve, right, yourself, that self-doubt is gonna creep in. And then
yes,
I want people also, because it happened to me as well, right? And then it really stopped me from doing other things, right? It's really holding you back. So this is just like a reminder for other like moms and uh, other moms like us, right? That also self-doubt is gonna be around,
yeah,
right? But the question is, are you going to listen to it, right? So in the beginning, I was the same thing. I would always um, have that self-doubt, I would have, and then it keeps getting louder and louder. Once you start to, oh, I don't think I can do this, and then you feel like smaller and smaller, and that self-doubt becomes louder and louder,
Yeah.
right? It's gonna be around. But what I have learned, you're right, through watching a lot of people in our business, a lot of successful people, right? You just say, okay, self-doubt, you're there, but I'm not gonna listen to you today. Right?
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna I'm gonna leave you there, and I'm gonna keep doing
Yeah.
what I have to do, right? Because
Yep.
getting caught up in all of those thinking, all those worries, all those fear, right? Those are time that you are actually wasting, right?
Mhm.
So it's like avoiding those things is like allows you to say yes to other things,
Yeah.
right? So that's really, that's, I think that's something that I want to, to highlight also, because it happens to all of us. But we just have to recognize, that those are always going to be there, and you are more than capable, right? Like for us, we didn't know that we can do a business, right? Just like you said, even I don't have any business background at all. I don't even think I have a business mindset before.
Yeah.
you know and so I think, going back to our topic, right, it's really about our whys, because we were like looking for more before we found this
Yeah.
business, right? We felt like, especially for me, I felt like um I was in my job during that time. I felt like I was not growing anymore, and I have this mom guilt that has been building up for so long. Because ever since the kids are little, right? I have been working also, right?
Yeah.
And I felt that guilt because I saw the kids growing up, and I felt like we were like not connected, and so
Yeah.
then that's when um, I started to look for something, right? In the beginning, I wasn't really looking for a job. I wasn't looking for a business. I was looking for a job wherein I can be flexible, so then I can give more time for the kids. But then I came across this business, and it has everything I wanted, right? The time freedom, the flexibility, right? And then not just that, it gives us like the personal growth, like what we talk about, right? It
Yeah.
like what has opened up for us, and through this business, because it has given us more time, we reconnected into our faith, and that is, I think, the most beautiful gift that this business has given us, right? Because that is it's giving us like long lasting habits, like really life changing um experiences that we are receiving from it, right?
Yeah. And like God's will for us is to have an abundant life. Okay,
Yeah.
so if you always have to think about that. If you're struggling financially, there's a way out. Okay, that's not God's will for you. And sometimes what we have to do is just take the leap of faith, look and around. There's so many opportunities out there to grow, to like have an extra income, like extra stream of income, right? And you just have to look at the perfect one. Where there's not going to be a perfect one. I'm just going to say is something that would actually align and make sense to you. Okay,
Yes.
there might be a business like the business that we have right now may not be the right one for you. But there's might be a business that's really like what you're going to enjoy, right?
Yes.
So, but what we encourage you is look around. You can even see what we offer here. And then and what we offer here is, you're not going to be forced to do anything. You're not going to be like chased. We're not going to chase you. We're not in the business for that. Because we believe in this business. I mean, we know that what this business can do to so many people all over the world. And so, but it is obviously it's your choice, right? It is your
Yes.
choice. This is going to be your business, and we're not saying that it's going to be this. It's going to be easy, right? There's going to be some work that you need to do, just like any other business. And we don't know what your work ethic is and your goals and everything like that. So, so your success really would depend on how much work you want to put in this business, right?
Yes.
And this applies to any kind of business. But, think about of a business where you can earn money while you sleep, where you don't have to really be there, so you can be with your family. So it is okay for us women, moms, to want more, right? And that doesn't mean that you're not contented with your life. That doesn't mean that you are ungrateful. That doesn't mean any of that. And so it's okay to want more as a woman, to be able to have more time freedom, be able to have, it's okay to desire those kind of things. And so, like, for me is, personally, I always pray that I pray to the Lord of what I desire to be in the next few years from now. And I say, I'll just keep trusting in you and where you wanted me to be. What I find as a blessing, Missy, is, I love what I do as an NP, and what it not only gives me ability to bless other people, but it is something that I'm very passionate about. So, would I why would I still want to have this kind of business? Because I feel like I want to expand more. I want to learn more. I wanted to earn more.
Mhm.
Um, and then also, hopefully, we'll have a choice in the future where
Yes.
I want to retire early. I want to spend more time with my kids, and then really is one thing that I would love to continue to be doing and to actually do more, a lot more, would be giving. And
Yes.
so, and that is something that has been like in my heart, that through this business, I know that that will happen. Being able to donate to all of like these charities that we're very passionate about, and helping the poor and things like that. And so, that's one of the things that I am praying that we'll be able to continue to do, and
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, and I think that is really like our ultimate purpose in life, right, sis? Like to serve others also, right? I know in our community it has been very inspiring, right? To see all the successful people doing medical missions, serving and helping a lot more people from the success that we have. That's also really something that's also in our heart,
Yeah,
we want to do, right?
yeah,
And I think that's just very important. It's also, those are like the whys that you have mentioned, sis, right? We want more choices, we want more time, right? And I think sometimes um, when we feel like we are overwhelmed, right? Sometimes going back to that why really help us to, that is like our driving force,
yeah,
right? It helps us to go through any obstacle, especially if you have that why. You start to have this clarity, your vision, right? Because once you have your mind and your heart connected, right, and that really helps you to propel, where you want to go. It really gives you to keep going on that destination that you want,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, and when you keep praying for more for your life, and not just financially, but growth or anything that you want, and it's always scary to do something new, just like what you mentioned earlier, right? And not knowing what the end result is,
Yeah.
right? But that's what we do in life, though. Like, we
Yep.
don't know what's gonna be, and you know what I mean. Like, we don't know what's gonna happen in 10 years, 5 years from now, right? So it really is also come with faith.
Yep.
If God has given you that idea, that dream that you have right now, and there's like business right in front of you, that was already, and don't be scared. Don't be scared. And with our business, you get the opportunity to even look in deeper with just like paying $149, which is refundable for 30 days. Then you're going to be able to dig deeper of whether this business is for you or not. Okay. And so and again, if you already have that kind of vision and God has already gave you that idea, don't be scared to take action. And then again, it's like faith, right? Have faith that God is going to direct you to the right direction, and will direct you to be in a better position, perhaps financially and mentally or physically, right? So
Yeah.
And you don't have to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this when everything is perfect. Well, waiting like that, there's not going to be a perfect time, because
Yeah.
perfect time is now. you know so
Yeah, like for us, right, sis, we feel like, those are not seeing the business. It's feel like those are some time wasted already.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, I wish that we
That's so,
knew sooner, right? And
yeah,
so, and what I like about this is everything is built in for us. It's like a business in the box, right? And I was gonna say is when I started the business, I didn't even know what a funnel is. I was like, what is a funnel? I didn't know anything about that kind of stuff.
right? Like for us, is I still don't even know how to build that funnel. The website and that, right? Those are all taken care of for us,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah,
that's the good thing about this business that we have. It's like a business online business franchise wherein we provide all the tools how you can be successful in the business,
yeah,
right? And then you just have to really show up and then
yeah,
do the work that you need in order for you to be successful.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
And
Uh,
then sis, also
yeah,
you mentioned about, right? You mentioned about how God gave you the business idea, right? Because
yeah,
I always come across this post in Instagram where they said, "Oh, when God gave you this business idea, He doesn't look at your bank account. He doesn't look at how much you have there, right?
yeah,
He gave you this, and you work through it, right? You know that you are placed there for a reason, right? Just
yeah,
like for me, when we found the business, right, we did our due diligence, for that 149. The good thing, what I love about our business is, they give you that opportunity. You
yeah.
pay the 149, and then you see all the blueprint of the business, and then you get to also refund if you don't like it, right? We're
Yeah.
not forcing anyone to do it.
Yeah, and it's very easy to refund. I can't believe like how easy it is actually.
Yes, like for me, sis, I was thinking, oh, if this wasn't a
Yeah.
refundable fee, then I may have not looked at into the business. Right?
Yeah, I know it's very scary because like before I started this business, I mean again like I mentioned this, and I think a lot of my friends even knew that I started an Etsy business. There was actually some affiliate marketing that I've done, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've tried all of that, right? But I feel, as I was talking to you the other day, I was telling you that I wish I didn't even start the Etsy. But then you know what, I realized, like, you know what, I actually enjoy that learning. I learned so much. I learned how to use Canva, which is now we're actually using it also for the
Yes.
business, right? So I learned so much doing that. And I have to, like, oh no, I should not be like regretting that I've done that. But with that business, I mean, it's still open. Actually, I put it on vacation, my Etsy store, uh,
Mhm.
because I wanted to focus more on my online businesses. And so yeah, I feel like that was kind of like my preparation to
Yes.
get me to this, because again, there's so many things that I was doing there that I am now able to apply here,
Yes.
in our business. So yeah.
And then sis, right, that like how many times would you recall something that that has happened through our life, like God has had to go through this,
Mhm.
and then next thing you know, oh, I understand now why. Because God is setting me
Yes.
up so that I can be prepared for this,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
that has really, like in my life through, I have seen that through my struggles in my life, then I felt like I become stronger and stronger. And then when challenges comes, oh, I'm ready. Just like
Yeah.
they said, right? God give um like the battles to his strongest soldiers, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. And so
Yeah.
I think we got prepared, right?
Yeah.
This is like really a divine appointment, that when if you are seeing this now, right, then this could probably be a sign for you, right? If you have that need, right, that you want more time, you want um to give your children more choices, right, in the future.
Yeah.
And this could be a sign for you, right?
Yeah, and one thing that I was actually thinking too, that I was talking to Jasmine the other day, and then I was telling her that one day I'm going to teach you how to do all these things, because that is something that I would like her to have that skill as well. That when she grows up, that she has the ability or a skill to be able to have her own business online as well.
Yeah.
So definitely is there's so many things, and aside from the tax benefit of owning a business.
Yes. Oh, do you mind to share your tax benefits?
Oh my gosh. So we usually our taxes are actually I mean we have our own CPA, and prior to joining the business we didn't know like all of these things that we can write off. So I mean, obviously you have to consult with your CPA. Our accountant is very familiar with our business, and so he laid everything down for us of what we can use as tax write-off. And I was like, oh my gosh, I wish we knew about all this, right? I mean, just electricity, because we use our home as to run our business, our online business. So like this little office that I have, and then Peter also has his own office. So those things. And then even what is this? The housekeeper that we have. So part of what we pay her is actually a tax write off. And I mind you guys, like this is the very first time that I have a housekeeper. I've for so many years I've thought about it, because I was like, oh, I don't want to pay anybody, right? Because I am just like, you know, I'm pretty. I was gonna say. I'm very mindful where the money goes,
Yeah.
And so, but with that, I was like, you know what? I can hire somebody to take care of things at home, while I can still also do, while I do able to do more time to put in our business.
Yes.
And then that's also tax write off.
Yes.
So so many different things. And actually our tax write-off, I'm not going to give you numbers, but I just enough to pay for a car.
I know, right, sis?
Yeah, so I mean, like it's amazing. So that itself, guys, you should really look into that.
Yes.
And
Because
like,
a lot of people, right, still have that, just like you said earlier, have that fear of, uncertainty, right? And just, it's true. We do that all the time.
yeah,
We make decisions, we don't know what's gonna happen. We still do it anyway, right?
yeah,
We still do the decision. So it's the same thing, I realized that when we join the business as well, right? We make decisions, it's not always gonna be certain, right? But
yeah.
because of the guidance that we have here, the blueprint, we are following like a proven plan,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And so that's what I love about this business also, that proven system that, this is not like new, right? It has been
yeah,
tested, and it has proved to really work. That's why
yeah.
we're here, right, sis?
Yes, yes, yeah. Oh my goodness, look at that. It's 43 minutes now. Our target, guys, was 40 minutes, so we went over. When you're having fun, you're not.
Yes. Yeah.
So I guess it would be time to wrap up, so that we could um yeah, wrap up.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what we wanted to share with you guys, right? It's like having the the why, right? And being, helps you to have more clarity. And if you have clarity, you're gonna be clear on your purpose, on your destination.
Yep.
The faster you get there if you know where you're going, right?
Yeah.
Because if you are not rooted into your why, you can easily give in, like you can easily give up.
Yeah.
But having, dig deep in your heart, why are you doing the things that you're doing? Just saying I want more money, that's not an enough why, right? You have
Yeah.
to dig deep, right?
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
like for me, I think, um what 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 my why is truly, is to really, for my kids to have more choices, right? That,
Yeah.
when, if ever I get to the deathbed, right, there's nothing for me to, I mean, like, I don't regret that I didn't give my children the best life that I can give. Like, I didn't do everything I can, right, to provide it for them, right? And that is something that's, I think it's gonna be heavy in our hearts. Like, whenever you get to that, to that point in your life, and then instead of you spending the time talking about how good was life is, how the kids has, how the family, love the time that we have spent, instead, we don't talk about, the regrets that we have, because, I think, that's where my why is rooted, like, really, just to ensure that, that I have given the best that I can for my children, and, taking the chances, taking the leap of faith, and the opportunities that has been shown to me, that God have shown us. I think that is something that, really, we want to share with you guys, right?
Yep. Yep. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. And I think we have one comment. So, oh, Art is watching from the backyard. You see, even dads are watching, and husbands are watching our series too. So that's awesome. Sorry. So next week we are actually going um, to a convention. So we have a business convention
Yes, we are excited.
together, or maybe we'll see. Are we gonna do this together? Like us together, right next to each other.
I know that would be fun, sis.
Yeah. So that's what we're gonna do next week. Is we're gonna be gone on next week. So
Are
thank
you
you guys.
excited, sis? We'll see
Oh
each
yeah,
other again there.
yeah, I know. Like, do you guys know that we are like what 7 minutes away from each other? That's like a bike ride, right? That's what you do. We don't far from each other. We can even walk and then meet halfway and then go live.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, thank you guys for watching. And if you are ready to take that leap of faith and see
Mhm.
what we have offer for you, then check out our website. So and then put your information there. We'd love to give you more information about the business and how you can also start your business. And so you just remember that you are capable. You're
Yes.
capable. You have what it takes to succeed in this business. So believe in yourself and have faith, and go back to why you're doing that, right? Like why, right? So and that will help us keep going and also to actually even start this business. So
Yes.
I hope that you guys get some value from this, and we will see you next week and the following weeks to come. And follow us along again every week. We'll do this again if we have a lot more time. Then maybe we will do this 2 times, 3 times. We will see, but at least once
Yes.
a week. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So thank you guys for joining us today, and, we will see you guys back again next time. And
Ah,
just always remember, you are worthy of everything that you want to achieve in your life, right? And you are capable, right?
yeah.
So anyway, guys, thank you for watching.
Bye.
Bye.